Okay, we are going to do the Excel Chapter 3 beginning on page EX144 in your book. So begin by opening an Excel worksheet. We're going to start by selecting cell A8, and you're going to start by typing Modern Music Shops. Okay, in cell A9 we're going to type 6 month financial projection. Okay, then in B10 we're going to type the word July. Now, the way that your book tells you to do your alignment is by using the format cells, okay, which is actually a perfectly acceptable way to do this. You can go into alignment and you can use this little twirly thing here to change your alignment on your cells. Okay, I'm going to show you an easier way to do this. You can go up here into your alignment tab and just choose angle counterclockwise. It's an easier way to do it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to the bottom right hand corner. We're going to grab our handle and we're just going to drag it across till it says December. Okay, then in cell H10 we're going to type total, and in I10 we're going to type chart. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to type the words down the side. We're going to type our row titles. So going down the side, we're going to type revenue. We're going to type cost of goods sold. We're going to type gross margin. We're going to skip a line, expenses. We're going to type bonus, commission, marketing, research and development, support, general and administrative, total expenses, and we're going to skip a line, and then operating income. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to go to column A here. We're going to right click and we are going to change the width of this column to 36. So we're going to go to column width, change it to 36. Okay, then we're going to highlight B, C, D, E, F, and G. Select any of those, right click, change column width again, and we're going to change the column width of these to 14.88. Okay, now if you're following along in your book, you're going to notice that the column or the row titles here are indented. Okay, to indent these, what we're going to do is we're going to click on the cell with the words that we want to indent. We're going to go into our alignment group and we're going to choose our increase indent button. Now you can't do the Control-Alt-Tab because when they did Windows 7, what happened is the Control-Alt-Tab actually brings up a different, it brings up a command. It has a value in Windows 7, so Control-Alt-Tab pulls up, we can see that it pulls up its own values. So that hotkey combination doesn't work. So you actually have to use this button in the alignment. If you're using Windows 7, if you're using Windows XP, it might work in Windows Vista as well. I'm not sure, but in Windows 7, it definitely does not work. You have to use the button. Okay, and then we're going to go down here and we're going to pick these: bonus, commission, marketing, research and development, and support, general, administrative. We're going to select all those, and the same thing. We're going to click here, and we're going to increase our indent. Okay, don't use spaces to increase your indent. That is not the correct way to do that. We use our increase indent button. You notice that when we go here, if we go up into this box here, there's no spaces here. Okay, this is right up against the left edge of our formula bar. Okay, the increase indent button is how we use that to increase our indent. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go all the way up to the top. Okay, we're going to type what if assumptions. Okay, then we're going to go down here. We're going to select these. We're going to copy, and we're going to paste. And then we're going to press escape. Okay, the next thing that we want to do is we want to insert some cells. Okay, so we're going to go and we're going to click on the row header here on the left, the 4. We're going to right click and we're going to choose insert. Okay, and what we're going to insert here is we're going to type the word margin. And you notice that it keeps the indent here. Okay, then we're going to go on the 7 and we're going to insert again. And here we're going to put sales revenue for bonus. Okay, and then we're going to type our values here. Okay, now for the sales revenue for bonus, I'm going to put $200,000. Okay, and I'm just going to do that in a comma format. Okay, for this I'm going to put 5.75%. Okay, for this one I'm going to put 57.50%. For the next one I'm going to put 15.00%. For the next one I'm going to put 7.50%. Then I'm going to put 3,500,000. And then again, I'm going to make that one I want to do that one a comma format. Let's try this again. 3,500,000, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then support general administrative is going to be 18.75%. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to freeze my column and my row headers. So I'm going to put my make my active cell, this one right here, 13B13, so right there between the July and the revenue. I'm going to go to View. I'm going to choose Freeze Panes, and I'm going to choose this top one, Freeze Panes. Now notice as I scroll back and forth, my my row titles and my column titles stay frozen. Okay, so that means I can scroll back and forth and keep my row and my column titles fixed. Okay, that's going to make it easier to work as I move through here. Now, these numbers that I'm going to enter here are on page 159 in your book, and I have them. I just have a copy here so that I don't have to type them. But those are on page 159 in your book, and you're just going to enter those. These are just numbers; they're not formulas. Straight numbers. We're going to enter those, and again, those are on page 159 in your book. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go into cell I11 right here, and we're going to insert a function. Okay, the function that we want to insert is a date time function. And what it's going to do is it's going to insert the current date and time when you open your spreadsheet. Okay, so we're going to type in now. We're going to find it. And we're going to type OK. Now notice it doesn't open a wizard. The reason it doesn't open a wizard is because this actually doesn't take any arguments. So we're just going to type now and click OK. And notice it now, see, it gives me little railroad tracks. That means that there's a value here, but my cell isn't big enough to hold my value. Now for some of you, what it might do is it might actually increase the size of your cell to put it in. If it does, you're going to notice that it has the date and it has a time format. Okay, what we want to do is we want to say change that. So we're going to right click and we're going to go to Format Cells. Okay, click on the number tab if you have to. And we're going to go to Date. And what we want is we want to scroll down and we want to choose 3/14/2001. Okay, this is the date format that we want. Okay, and then we're going to position our cursor right here till it makes a bar with 2 arrows right between the I and the J on the line between the column headers, and we're going to double click just to make that best fit for that date format. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start entering our formulas. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to use something called relative and absolute referencing. Now, a relative reference is going to change when I copy the values, and absolute reference is not going to change. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, a relative reference, okay, this is a reference, okay, A1, that's a reference. Now, watch, when I copy this across, okay, see that changed from A1 to B1. Okay, now if I copy it down, it changes to B2. See, so my row and my column change. Okay, now if I make it an absolute reference, and I can make it an absolute reference by pressing F4. Okay, sorry. Okay, and what that does is it puts a dollar sign before the column and before the row reference. Okay, a dollar sign. And you can do the same thing by typing a dollar sign. Okay, you don't have to use the F4 key. You can actually type a dollar sign. Okay, now watch what happens. Okay, now when I copy it, it stays the same. Okay, see, now I copied it, and now that A1 stays the same. It doesn't change to a B1. And when I copy it down, see, it doesn't change to a B1. It stays in A1. Now, as you can guess, if I go in here, if I press that F4 key again, now the dollar sign is just in front of the 1. Now watch what happens when I do it across. Now see, that 1 stays the same. Now watch, when I copy it down, see that 1 stays the same, but see that row change, that column changes. Okay, so whatever you put that dollar sign in front of, that's what's going to stay the same. So if I press that F4 key again, okay, see, now it's in front of the column. Okay, so now you probably guessed that A is going to stay the same. See, watch, that A stays the same, but watch, now the A is going to stay the same, but that 1's going to change to a 2. See? So wherever you put the dollar sign in front of, it doesn't change. But anything where you don't put the dollar sign is going to stay the same. Okay, now, on this, we're going to use what's called an absolute reference, which means we're going to put the dollar sign in front of the column and in front of the row just because it's easier that way. Okay, so what we're going to do here in our cost of goods sold is we're going to use an absolute and a relative reference. Now, a relative reference is going to be our sales. Our cost of goods sold is going to be a function that's going to be subject to our sales. Okay, so in August, our cost of goods sold is going to be based on our August sales. September is going to be based on our September sales. October is going to be based on our September sales. So we want the sales to change. So we're not going to make that an absolute reference. That's going to be a relative reference. So we don't want those dollar signs because we want it to change. Because in July, we want it to be July. August, we want it to be August. September, we want it to be September. But we want it to be based on margin. Okay, 1 minus margin. But we don't want that margin to change. Okay, because when I copy it, there's nothing in this cell here. Okay, so if I copy it over here, I don't want it to change to C4 because there's nothing in C4. I want it to stay at B4 all the time. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it B4. Okay, so I want it to stay as B4. Now don't worry if it's a percent. We're going to fix that later. Okay, so don't worry about it being a percent. We're going to fix that. Okay, if it's a percent, that's okay. See, because all we need to do there is change it to a comma, and that changes it. Although that's not the right number. B minus B, oh, this should be times, sorry. This shouldn't be minus, it should be times. That's why that number was wrong. So it's B13 times 1 minus B4, and then B4 has the dollar signs. Okay, now our gross margin is going to be this minus this. And every month it's going to be our August revenue minus our August cost of goods sold. September revenue minus September cost of goods sold. So we want both of those numbers to change. Okay, now our bonus is going to be based on our sales. Okay, we only get our bonus if we sell $3,500,000 worth of stuff. So we don't want to have to go and look at this. I mean, it's not so big a deal because we only have 6 months. So every 6 months we can check it. But let's say instead of 6 months, we did it over 6 years. That would be 72 months we had to check. That's a lot of work. So what we want to do is we want to make it so that the computer checks it for us. So what we can do is we can use what's called an if statement. Okay, so you can type in if, and what the if is going to do is it's going to check. So the first argument in our if is if, and it's going to be a logical test. So what are we checking? We're checking if the revenue is greater than or equal to the sales revenue for our bonus. Okay, now remember we don't want that to change, right? Because there's nothing in this cell. We always want to check it against this cell. So we're going to press that F4 key. Now, if it is greater than or equal to that number, then we're going to get this great bonus. Okay, and again, we don't want that to change because we're always going to get the bonus that's in this cell. There's nothing in this cell, so we're not going to get that bonus. We're not going to get this bonus. We're not going to get this bonus. We're always going to get the bonus in this cell B2. So we want to press that F4 key. If it's false, we're not going to get a bonus at all. We're going to get nothing. So we're going to press 0. Now, you can see down here that it's telling us there's not going to be a bonus. If we look at our sales, $3,113,000. Well, is that greater than or equal to $3,500,000? No, it's not. So that's right. We're not going to get a bonus this month. So we're just going to press OK, and it puts a 0 there. Okay, now our commission is equal to our revenue times our commission. Okay, now do we want that? Is that going to change? Is it next month? Is it going to be this? No, it's not. It's always going to be this, so we want to press that F4 key. Okay, our marketing is going to be equal to our sales. And remember, each month is going to be the sales that we made that month, so we want that to change, times our marketing. And again, we don't want that to change, so we're going to press that F4 key. Okay, research and development, same thing. Okay, it's going to be our sales this month, sales this month, sales this month, sales this month, times our research and development, okay, which we don't want to change, so we want to press that F4 key. Okay, support general and administrative is going to be equal to our sales for this month times, okay, and again, support general administrative, do we want that to change? No, we don't. If we don't want that cell reference to change, we're going to press that F4 key. Okay, our total expenses, we're going to auto sum that. Okay, then we're going to go down here, and our operating income is going to equal, and it's going to equal our gross income minus our total expenses. Okay. Now, if we've done it right, what can happen is now we can take all of this, we can just scroll down here, and we can grab this corner, and we can drag it all across to December. And we should have numbers all the way across. And it looks like we've done it right because we have numbers. Now, if you have a lot of zeros in here, that means you have to go through and you have to try it again. Okay, but you should have numbers all the way across. If you have numbers all the way across, that means you've probably done it right. Okay? All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and what we have to do is we have to total these numbers on the side. Now, we don't want to get totals in these blank spots. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to drag down here. Now, we're going to press our control key and hold it down, and we're going to drag through these. We're going to keep holding that control key, and we're going to click right there. And we're going to press our auto sum. Okay? And then we can just double click here to make sure we've got enough room there. Okay, if you're getting those railroad tracks, remember that just means there's not enough room in that cell to house those numbers. Okay, not a big deal. Okay? And then what I want to do here really quick is I'm going to show you, if you want to unfreeze your cells, we're going to go to View, go back to Freeze Panes, choose Unfreeze Panes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, and I'm going to hold down my control key and press that tilde. That tilde is just under your escape key on the left side of your keyboard. And see, you can look at those formulas. Okay, there's those formulas. So you can look at your formulas and look at my formulas and make sure that you've done it correctly. Okay, it should look like this. Okay, look, you've got your dollar signs, and then you've got your no dollar signs. See your dollar signs and your no dollar signs. Okay, it should look pretty much like this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close it back out. That's a toggle key, so when you want to turn those formulas on, you press the control key and the tilde, and then when you want to turn it off, just press those same keys again. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to format our sheet. Oh, no. We're going to add what's called a sparkline chart. Sparkline charts are pretty cool. So what we're going to do, you see this last column here, we have charts. So we're going to go and we're going to click here in this last one. These are kind of cool. Okay, it's like a little line chart that you can put in your cell over here on the right. So what we're going to do is you should have a group here in your Insert tab called Spark Lines. And you notice you can do a line chart, you can do a column chart, or you can do a win-loss chart. We're going to do a line chart. Okay, so make sure you're in your Spark Lines group. You don't want to be in your charts group. You want to be in your Spark Lines chart group. We're going to press a line. Okay, for your data range, we don't want to get that total in there. This is just like with the other charts. If you get your total in there, you're going to skew your results. Okay, and we're just going to do B13 through G13. Okay, and then you're just going to do OK. Okay, now look, just the same way as with your other charts, you can do some formatting on them. Okay, we're going to choose this one right here, no dark or light. Okay, and then just like with anything else, we can just drag this down, we can just copy it to add a Spark Lines chart to all our groups. Okay, so now we have a little chart, a little line chart that shows how everything looks. And you notice they all look pretty much the same. Why do they look pretty much the same? They look pretty much the same because they're all a function. They're all a function of our sales, right? So they should all look pretty close to the same. They all should look pretty close to the same. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to format our worksheet. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to format. We're going to drag through this this row. Hold your control key. Drag through this row. Keep your control key down. Drag through this row. Keep your control key. Drag through this row. Keep your control key and drag through this last row here. Okay, we're going to choose currency for those. Okay, we're going to drag through this middle row here. Okay, we're going to hold our control key and we're going to drag through this group right here in the middle. Okay, and we're going to choose the comma style for that. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab this A10, the modern music. Okay, we're going to increase this to 36. Okay, we're going to change this one to 18. Okay, we're going to drag through these two rows right here. We're going to change our font color to purple, accent to darker, 25%. Okay, we're going to change our font to white. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to drag through these cells right here. Okay, for cell styles, we're going to choose heading 3. Okay, then we're going to drag through these cells. We're going to hold down our control key, click through these cells, and drag through these cells. We're going to choose our cell styles and we're going to choose total. Okay, we're going to select revenue. We're going to select the purple with the white and bold. Okay, then we're going to double click Format Painter. And we're going to click on gross margin. And then we're going to drag through operating income all the way across the bottom. Okay, then we're going to go up to what if assumptions. Oops. Undo. We're going to click Format Painter to, oops. Undo. We're going to click Format Painter to turn it off. Okay, then we're going to bold, italic, and underline what if assumptions. Okay, then we're going to select all of this, and we're going to reduce the font size to 8, and we're going to purple and white. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add a 3D pie chart. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag through B12 through G12. And then we're going to drag through B25. Oops. If you lose your formatting in that, just add the currency back. Okay, B25 through G25, then hold your control key down and go through B25 through G25. And then we're going to insert pie, 3D pie. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to move chart, so make sure you're on your design. We're going to move chart to a new sheet. Okay, we're going to right click and we're going to rename this tab. We're going to call it 3D pie chart. Okay, then we're going to go to our layout tab. We're going to choose chart title, centered overlay title, and we're going to type 6-month financial projection. Okay, and then we're going to go to our home tab and we're going to underline it. Okay, we're going to go back to layout. We're going to go to our legend. We're going to choose none. Then we're going to go to data labels and we're going to choose outside end. Okay, then we're going to go to any data label and we're going to choose format, right click, choose format data labels. Okay, turn off show leader lines and value. And then we're going to click category name and percentage. Okay, next we're going to go to 3D rotation. Okay, we're going to change the X rotation to 90. Okay, that should put your August right in front. Okay, then we're going to click the August. And then you notice that you got these little dots all the way around the outside. Okay, we're going to click August again and make sure you've got the dots just around August. Okay, then we're going to right click and we're going to choose Format Data Point. If it says Format Data Series, then you need to go back and click August again so that it says Format Data Point. Okay, then we're going to go to 3D Format. Okay, we're going to choose Top. We're going to choose Circle. And we're going to change this to 50. And we're going to change this to 50. Okay, then we're going to go down to Material and we're going to change it to Soft Edge. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to right click, do Format Data Point. Okay, and you want to point explosion, change it to 28. Okay, we want to change the fill, change it to solid fill, and choose this light blue. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to go around and we're going to change the colors of the other data points. Okay, we're going to right click and we're going to change, oops, actually that's not what I meant to do. I'm having issues here. I'm trying to fix my chart type. I accidentally only formatted that data point, and I'm trying to format the rest of my chart to match. There we go. Okay, so then we're going to change, or we're going to format the other data points. Okay, so I want my fill on this one to be yellow. Okay, the next one I'm going to make purple. So make sure you're always choosing the data point. So solid fill, choose the next one, format data point, fill, solid fill, and you can always tell because it'll say format data point instead of format data series. You want to make sure it says format data point, because if you do format data series, it's going to format the whole pie will become one color. Okay, so if that happens, you just need to undo and then do each data point individually. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to change our tabs. Okay, we're going to add a color to this tab, so we're going to change it to tab color, and we're going to do orange. Okay, then we're going to change the tab on this one. We're going to rename, and this is going to be 6-month financial projection. And you need to hit enter because you can't change the tab color until you leave the tab. And then we're going to right click and we're going to change the tab color, and we're going to change it to pink accent 1. Okay, and then you're going to save that and you're all done. Okay, if you want to, you can even delete these sheets. It's always a good idea to get rid of unused sheets. Because that way people don't get confused and think that there's additional sheets that were used. Okay, so it's always a good idea to get rid of additional sheets that you don't use. Okay, and once you're done with that, you're all done. Now, on your other work, it's going to be very, very similar to what you're doing here. So don't get confused. Okay. Don't get confused just because the words are different. Your setup is going to be very, very similar. Okay, so when you're working on your project, okay, when you're working on your cases and places and your in the lab or whatever it's called, don't get confused because you don't see that the setup is the same. Your setup is going to be very, very similar to this one. Okay, so you're going to have your two sections. You're going to have your what if analysis that has, or your what if assumptions that have your assumptions and then you're going to have your numbers here, and then you're going to have your numbers down at the bottom that are your numbers times your numbers from your what if analysis. So don't get confused. You still have your separate parts, okay? So don't get confused just because it looks kind of different. Your setup is going to be almost exactly identical to this one. So use this as a go-by. If you don't use this as a go-by, you're going to get confused. Start here, set it up. It's going to be almost exactly the same setup with a little minor variations. Don't get confused. It's going to look almost exactly the same as this. You're just going to be using different words, but your formulas and everything are going to be very, very similar. Okay, so you're just going to have to take what you've done here and apply it to the new situation. So don't get confused. All right, good luck.